This week on Quality Digest Live, we examine the less is best approach to innovation.
Plus, the CMSC is looking for a few good white papers. That and more when we come back. Welcome back to Quality Digest Live for November 30th, 2012. QDL is your weekly look at who and what is making the news in the world of quality. I'm Ryan Day, Quality Digest Assistant Editor, trying to fill in the large shoes and beard of Dirk Ducharme, who is on vacation.
That guy's always on vacation. I don't know. He takes a lot of time off, that guy. Dirk Ducharme. And I'm Mike Richmond, Quality Digest publisher. Okay, well, we're going to begin the show this week with our news, as we normally do. And the first one comes to us from Georgia Tech, the Georgia Institute of Technology. Now, the university recently announced the launch of the Georgia Tech Manufacturing Institute, or GTMI. This is an interdisciplinary research institute designed to foster innovation with a key focus on technological advancements within manufacturing. GTMI will offer approximately 400,000 square feet of space and state-of-the-art facilities. Specific needs within manufacturing will be targeted by forming what they're calling collaboratories. I like that, collaboratories. Collaboratories, that's right. Which are co-located pilot plants or prototype shops where Georgia Tech scientists and engineers are going to work side by side with their counterparts from industry, government, and other educational facilities. Now, GTMI will focus on core disciplines such as additive manufacturing, precision machining, supply chain and logistics, and sustainable design, all good things. Now, industry, government, academia working together is a trend. It's been a trend. Who'd have thunk it? We've seen this now for a couple of months at least, most of this year and before, that we've seen a lot of stories about this. Now, I initially thought, hey, most of this is probably election year politicking, you know. Of course, the federal government's going to be throwing money at this to say, we're improving manufacturing, right? They're going to be doing that.
There's always politicking, yeah.
There's always, and it's not always just an election season. There's always another election coming around. But I think this is a little bit more than that, really, because we're seeing it now even going forward. Again, and yeah, sure, there's always another election, but we're seeing it going forward. And I think the reason we're seeing this is because it makes sense. It addresses a need in the market. Universities are businesses, right? I mean,
okay.
Let's
in the market.
In the market, right? So universities are businesses, and their customers are
students.
Are students, right? Students pay for their services, right? So I think what's happening here is we're seeing a lot of these vocational schools, trade schools, community colleges, doing a lot of these types of programs where you're going to try to bring people into manufacturing and give them manufacturing training. And I think the universities are saying, hey, this is a big chunk of our business. We want to get into this business too. So I think they're starting to augment what they're doing in that field as well.
These are larger universities getting into this. I mean, some smaller, but...
Sure. Georgia Tech's a big university. I mean, Georgia Tech is a major university, and I think that there's a lot of other ones out there that are doing this. So it's interesting. I think we're going to continue to keep our eye on this as we go forward. And
it's a good trend.
It's good. Hey, whatever the motivation is, it's a good trend for manufacturing.
Trend. Well, our next news item concerns the winner of Humantech Inc.'s 6th annual Find It, Fix It Challenge.
What is the Find It, Fix It Challenge?
I'm glad you asked. The Find It, Fix It Challenge recognizes and rewards simple but effective workplace solutions that increase productivity, improve worker morale, and reduce workplace injuries and illnesses.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. And this year, Terex Utilities out of Huron, South Dakota, took top honors with their pedestal weld entry. Now, their solution focused on improving the posture and comfort of the worker. Actually, the station is where they weld a gusset onto the pedestal shell.
Okay.
And the welder has to crawl into the shell and out of the shell to weld. So he crawls in, welds, they reposition the shell. He crawls back into the shell, his legs dangling out. And he's welding inside.
Yeah, right. It's hot.
Do that 8 times. And it is boiling. So with only a $300 budget, they were able to develop and build a new station system process where the welder is able to sit upright and reduced his time inside the shell and cut down on process time. Of course, it was the welding inside the shell part of this news item that caught my attention.
You've welded, so.
And I'll tell you, my own welding gloves, my charred welding gloves will attest to how much heat is generated when you're welding. I can't imagine how hot it is for those guys welding inside the shell. It was funny because Terex's own manufacturing engineer says that all of our workers like the improved station.
Gee, no kidding, right? What do you think about that? Yeah.
Right. Well, congratulations to Terex for winning the Find It, Fix It challenge.
That's right. Good stuff there. And that's an interesting challenge. Those kind of awards, those kind of things are cool because they point out the way that people are using innovation to we're going to talk about innovation later, but use innovation to solve problems. $300. Hey, I mean, that's pretty low hanging fruit.
Budget. I love to see the collaboration, the collaboratories.
That's right.
Like that, where a couple of different industries or sectors help motivate each other for things that are actually in the workplace, you know, rubber meets the road kind of thing.
Good stuff. Okay, well, our final news item this week, final news story, comes from the good people at NIST and the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. The Baldrige program is currently seeking examiners for the 2013 award cycle. Now, Baldrige examiners are comprised of senior leaders and experienced managers from all economic sectors. Examiners have a unique opportunity to closely study the processes of Baldrige Award applicants, all of whom embody the highest principles of performance excellence and quality. Now, the deadline to apply for to be a Baldrige examiner is January 10th, and you know it's going to be here before you know it. Holidays, then January 10th, New Year, January 10th.
It's right around the corner.
Right around the corner. So you can find links to application forms and all the other information you're going to need in the article that we recently published on this topic, which, like all the stories we're going to be covering on today's show, you're going to find right down there just below the player page. So check that out. And if you're interested in becoming a Baldrige examiner, it's great for your career. And like I say, great benchmarking. You're going to learn a lot about some really, really high-performing companies. So be sure to check that out.
That's good stuff.
Okay.
Well, today's first feature article is titled Less is Best, and it comes to us from Matthew E. May, an internationally recognized expert in the fields of change, innovation, and design strategy. In this article, Matthew points out the minimalist zig, innovation zig. As
not Zig Ziglar, who just passed away.
No, not Zig Ziglar.
And not Zag Zaglar, who never existed.
The thing is that he points out the minimalist innovation zig as opposed to the bloated, excessive, fat zag, innovation zag. No offense to any zaggers out there, but what Matthew says is that in like the last 6 years, he's looked at thousands of products, processes, ideas, and it's his opinion that they've all got, the successful companies have like 3 things in common.
Okay.
And those are lean features, loose reins, and quiet minds.
Oh.
Like a mantra. You can say that. Lean features, loose reins.
Quiet minds.
Quiet minds.
That's right.
Okay. Now, how that translates into less is best, so less what?
Right.
But lean features translates into less features, fewer features.
Simpler.
Simpler.
Yeah, right,
exactly.
right.
Exactly so. May uses Instagram from images on Twitter fame, Instagram as an example. And apparently Instagram, and I didn't know this, when they started out, were not all that successful. They were feature-packed, very feature-rich, and had lots of bells and whistles, and were not very successful. They went back to the drawing board. They cut out a lot of the unnecessary features. They really pared it down and are now wildly successful. The name is synonymous with sending images through Twitter. I mean, in fact, they've cut it down so many that they've got these features. Count them. They're very simple to use. They make great pictures. You can stop counting.
That's it. That's about it. Well, you know, another one that just came to me as you're talking about it. I mean, one of the most successful websites in the world is Craigslist, and it doesn't get much simpler than that. I mean,
Right.
Craigslist is essentially a bulletin board. It has no bells and whistles.
Exactly.
And people like that. It's incredibly useful. I mean, because it's just what it is. It's just text, a couple pictures. Right. That's it. Really.
Do those things. Do them very well.
Uh-huh.
The customers before apparently just really couldn't. They couldn't see the big value.
Mm-hmm.
The big value is just a very simple thing in that product, and so that was lean features. So the next less was loose reins, and what May means by loose reins is less management.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear an awful lot about flatter organizations whose grip on management, and definitely as far removed as you can get from micromanagement.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about companies like Gore-Tex, a gaming company called Valve,
mm-hmm.
and Javi, an auto parts manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these companies really embrace and use that flatter organization. They really push the self-directed work teams
mm-hmm.
and empowering their employees, and are using it very successfully. It was pretty funny. Favi's when Jean-Francois, I'm going to butcher this, Jean-Francois Zobrist.
I'll let you, it's all you, man.
First became CEO of Javi.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things he did was to tell the employees, I won't do this with an accent, that you do not work for me.
Mm-hmm.
You do not work for any boss. Your boss is the customer.
Absolutely right.
And then, and then gave them the power to do what they needed and go in the directions they needed to do to serve the customer best.
Yep, good. That's good stuff. Yep.
And the third less would be quiet minds. Quiet minds, and that would translate to less mental clutter. And there's quite a few companies, they're talking about literally about meditation, using meditation as a tool to quiet the minds, and this in turn allow the subconscious mind to let out, have a place, if you will, to let out those innovative and inspirational thoughts that might otherwise be covered up. There's a lot of big companies that have been pushing that since the 70s or so.
So let the chattering at the front end of the mind kind of go away a little bit, and let everything from the back come forward. That's maybe the true creativity, the true innovation.
That's exactly
ideas.
Exactly what they're talking about. Whether that's your style or whether your style is to cram it all in, I don't know. But so those were really the three keys.
Yeah. Well, I think I agree with him, but there certainly is a counter to that too. I mean, I think that all this less is more is great, and I think that that's really important, but I think you need to balance it out too, because I think that there is a place as well for the chattering, for the brainstorming, for that the front end of the creativity where you just spit it all out.
No, you're talking about the meditation, or the quiet mind.
Yeah, the whole thing. The whole thing with less is more, and less is more, I think, in many cases. But I think you also, and sometimes in the case of innovation, more is more. More ideas, more chatter, more gnashing it through, thinking about it, looking at it from different directions can also be valuable. I think there is some value to that too.
Certainly, I would think from experience, especially in the early processes of product development, which obviously starts with idea development, which becomes then product development.
Yep.
But certainly in there, I know there have been an awful lot of times where I've got to go both ways with that. I was going to say a lot of times where, just bouncing ideas between people without reserve.
Yeah.
But then there was an awful lot of times where I just had to sit back with a pint and and stare. What? Yeah. And just stare at my project and let those ideas come out.
It's to get back to the whole meditation thing. It's the yin and the yang. I mean, it's a yin and yang thing where there's two halves of a whole, and I think that both of them help companies, organizations foster those breakthroughs. And I think Matthew's point in this article is that we undervalue many times the value of the quiet part of that, of the less, but you need the more too, is what my point on that is.
I like the whole piece in that he's really taking a holistic approach in those three, you know, in the design, the implementation, and the innovation, you know, that make up various areas of any industry, you know, any product manufacturing or service,
whatever it is.
You know, that those are three big areas that have to be addressed or can really help or hurt a company.
Absolutely.
So,
Good stuff. Well, Matthew May, that's Less is More. And that appeared, was that Wednesday?
That was,
Wednesday,
it was this week, came out in Quality Digest.
Quality Digest Daily.
And check out his bio. Just go to qualitydigest.com, look up Matthew E. May. He's written several good books and has some really good work.
Yeah, sure does.
Several of them.
Yeah, one of our favorite contributors, one of our favorite columnists, Matthew May.
I enjoy his work.
Good stuff. Okay, well, we have another feature article. I'm going to cover one this week. It's actually not a feature article, technically. It's a feature story on this program.
We can still cover it.
We can still cover it. What the heck, you know? We're going to be talking about the Coordinate Metrology Systems Conference. We're looking ahead to the 2013 Coordinate Metrology Systems Conference, which happens in just a few short months in July. And that'll be here before you know it. And it's going to be at the beautiful Sheraton Hotel Marina in lovely San Diego. That's the end of July of 2013. And again, that'll come around very, very quickly. The CMSC, of course, one of the centerpieces of the show, the Coordinate Metrology Systems Conference, are white paper presentations that demonstrate cutting-edge best practices in portable coordinate metrology. These white papers cover everything from laser trackers to portable CMMs to photogrammetry and everything in between, the hardware and the software that helps service those tools. So the best of these white papers that are presented at the show are then collected and published twice a year in the Journal of the CMSC, which I'm proud to say the QD team helps to produce, and the quarterly CMSC World e-newsletter. So coming on Monday is going to be the call for papers announcement, which will contain further details about how and why you're going to want to maybe submit a paper for a presentation at the CMSC in 2013. So joining us now via Skype to chat about the call for papers and the benefits of presenting at the conference is Michael Raphael, President and CEO of Direct Dimensions and CMSC Technical Presentation Coordinator. Michael, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Hi, Michael.
It's our pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us. So, Michael, fill us in a little bit on some of the details about how this all works. So, if someone is interested in presenting a paper at CMSC in San Diego this summer, how would they go about it?
Okay, so as you rightly pointed out, our call for papers comes out on Monday. This comes out in the form of a press release, and it goes, of course, up on our cmsc.org website. And this call for papers is essentially an announcement that describes the type of papers that we're looking for, the type of content, the format of the papers. When we say papers, we're also talking about presentations. That's a large part of this conference, of course, are the technical presentations that we present at the conference. Last year, I think we had about 26 of them. So that's about our normal, somewhere in the range of 22 to even as close as 30 technical presentations. You may submit a technical paper along with the presentation, and we encourage that, of course, which would be, as Mike pointed out, a white paper of sorts or a technical paper. And all of those are the details of that in terms of what the formats and style of paper and whatnot is included in our guidelines that we will put out with the press release. And again, we'll go up on our website and we'll be promoting this in Quality Digest and other news outlets and whatnot to hopefully get a good mix of presentations for July for our conference.
So who are these presenters? Where do they come from, and how do you find them? How do they find you? What's their background usually?
That is the magic, Mike. I mean, CMSC certainly is a unique conference. It's our 29th year this year, which we're proud to say. And we have an incredible mix of international quality, measurement, metrology professionals from all over the world. And we're really proud of that. It's really the conference of the year for anyone doing 3D coordinate metrology that's in that field, or research, or developing products. So we really have a good mix, for example, of universities. Last year we had Clemson University. We had a number of we have national labs and research councils. We had both NIST, presenters from NIST, as well as the NRC up in Canada. We had several I do mean more than two, actually, from a particular university in Germany that we're very proud to say. In fact, I'll give them a plug, the Leibniz University in Hanover. Really quite pleased with the quality of their submissions last year, and we were proud to be able to offer all three of these submissions speaking slots, as well as accept their technical papers. And as Mike pointed out, the best of these papers are selected for our twice annual journal. We have on the order of 4 to maybe sometimes 5 technical papers published in the journal of the CMSC, which, as you pointed out, Quality Digest does a wonderful job in helping us produce that. It's a highly coveted publication, I have to admit. We get a lot of requests for copies, for reprints of the articles, as well as just people that look to get that content information off of our website. That when you're a member of CMSC, which is a very nominal fee, if you come to the conference, you're automatically a member. But if you're not, if you're unable to come, for a very small fee, in fact, it's $25, and we encourage as many of you to sign up and become members of CMSC, you will not only get a copy of this journal each year, each quarter, each half a year, just twice per year, but you'll also be able to go online and pull down the content, not just for the current publications, but go back in time. I think we have 8 or 10, maybe even close to 11 or 12 years worth, Mike, you may know, of Quality Digest produced CMSC journals.
Yeah, I think it's now 12 or 13 issues. So yeah, there's a lot of good content up there.
They're nice issues.
They're nice issues. Well, if I do say so ourselves, yeah, we love working with the CMSC on producing those. Mike, you mentioned a little bit about who comes to the show and the reasons for coming to the show. Talk a little bit about who does come to the show. What if our users, our viewers out there do decide to come out to San Diego in July and check it out? Who are they going to see? What are they going to kind of have a chance to learn, and who are they going to meet at the show?
Great, thanks. So no question, the technical content at the conference is one of our strongest features, and the ability to sit through morning sessions twice each day of technical presentations. Again, 2 tracks, which we've done for a couple of years now. It's loaded with content. So that's each of the mornings, the main mornings. We have, of course, a plenary session in the first day where we have general business and updates about the industry, and the vendors all get up and tell us their latest products and what they're going to see at the exhibit hall. So another component, in fact, is the exhibit hall. And so we have, I think it's upwards of 40 to 50 different exhibitors. These are OEMs and service providers and people in the industry that sell their services and their products and whatnot. And they come as exhibitors to CMSC, have the typical trade show booth, for example. Some have more than a couple. And you can learn, you can touch, you can feel, you can play with the equipment, the software, the tools. Talk to these people, get intimate with the technology, take a demonstration of all of this type of thing, as well as interact with users that come from all over the world. We get 300 to 400 people a conference, which is great. I think we're shooting for over 400 this year, which would be fantastic. There's people like myself who have been in this industry for more than 20 years are there. There's many long-time old-timers that have been in this industry for a long time that you can interact with. So if you've never been to a CMSC, it's never too late. Now would be a great time to come out to San Diego. We would love to see you. We do move around from city to city every year, so we give as many different regional areas an opportunity to come and take part in CMSC, and we're proud of that fact that we move this around. It's always in July, at least as far back as I can remember, which is I've been involved for I think 15 or 16 years. But it does float around. It'll come back east the following year, which is great. So we're looking forward to it. It's always my main thing is that you will not be able to do all of the things you'll want to do. There's that many people to talk to network with, to meet, to get some ideas, to get tips and tricks, whether you're a user, a novice, whether you're interested in learning about this technology for the first time. So if you use, as Mike pointed out, some of these hardware tools like arms, the portable arms, the articulating arms for measuring parts, whether it's close range with scanners on those arms, photogrammetry equipment, laser radars, laser trackers, any type of white light or structured light type scanners. And we do have usually quite a few new technology components that find us at CMSC and come from different areas of the world that are displaying their work, their technology or their products for the first time. And we're very proud to be often a launch point for some of these technologies.
Well, Mike, that's great. I think you did a great job presenting the reasons, good reasons to come to the show. Before I let you go, you're not only the technical presentation coordinator for CMSC, you're also the president and CEO of Direct Dimensions. Take a minute and just tell me a little bit about Direct Dimensions and what they do and how you came to the CMSC.
Sure, I appreciate that. So Direct Dimensions, I founded Direct Dimensions in 1995 after coming out of aerospace field. And I worked in aerospace and helped develop, many people know this, but the Faro arm that's very popular today. I was their first user, their first customer and their first user, and helped develop it. And decided there was going to be a thing where this technology would be demanded, and started Direct Dimensions. And we've grown quite steadily since 1995 by adding lots of new technology, measurement equipment. Our primary focus is 3D metrology, and we use pretty much most of the tools out there. We're well known for our laser scanning capabilities and reverse engineering capabilities for all types of objects, from very small to very large. We're deeply involved, in fact, these days in building scanning, and we use scanners to scan airplanes and facilities and structures and factory environments and things like that, all the way down to mechanical parts and assemblies and components. If it's small enough, it ships to us. If it's larger, we go to it with our portable metrology equipment. We've been all over the world. We're proud of our capabilities, and we think it's rather unique in not just the U.S., but potentially around the world in terms of our depth, breadth, and capabilities in this world.
Well, great. Great. Well, thanks, Mike. That's perfect. I think that sums it up well. Thank you for joining us again, telling us a little bit about your company, about CMSC, and of course the call for papers, which we'll all look forward to this Monday. So thanks again for joining us. We'll see you again down the road. There it is. Thanks, Mike. All right, good stuff there with Mike Raphael. Learned a lot. I think that we certainly encourage people out there to check that out and see about the CMSC.
In fact, I was thinking of doing a presentation on photogrammetry at the CMSC, but the problem being I don't know a thing about photogrammetry. I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not.
If you come to the CMSC, you'll meet plenty of people who can tell you all about it, believe me. All right. Well, before we close, I want to take a moment. Periodically on the show, we like to look at mail from our audience, commenting on something that we covered either in QDD or in a recent episode of QDL here. So we got one such email from Accredia, the Italian national accreditation body, which was responding to a recent article from Umberto Tunisi that we ran in QDD and covered on this show 2 weeks ago. Now, Tunisi's piece questioned the value of accredited certification, and he also mentioned his personal experience with Accredia, and he wondered aloud if, quote, lobbying and nepotism, unquote, played a part in their refusal to hire him as an accredited auditor.
Far be it from Umberto to tweak anyone.
Far be it from Umberto to make any waves. But Accredia, as you might have expected, responded to this accusation, and they responded as follows. I want to read their response to you. In reference to the article, is accredited certification really value adding? We don't want to discuss the personal point of view of Mr. Tunisi about the value of accredited certification, but we want to answer the sentence inside the article that was directly referring to Accredia, the national accreditation body in Italy. The role of the NAB assessors has a very high importance in the accreditation process, as well as the periodic surveillance activities. The choice of new assessors is the responsibility of the NAB direction, with the appointment of the NAB accreditation committee. This process is based on different items. New assessors needed in the different schemes and sectors of accreditation. No new assessors are chosen without real need. Personal skills and experience of the new assessor. Suggestion to limit the number of external assessors, with particular reference to those assessors working for accredited conformance assessment bodies, CABs. For the above reason, we strongly refute that lobbying and nepotism play any role in the past and actual culture of Accredia. And that, of course, is from Accredia. Thank you for that. Now, we should note for the record that Tunisi was already working as a certified third-party auditor at the time, so Accredia, like other national accreditation bodies, considered this as a conflict of interest. So bear that in mind too. It's always our intention, we always want to make sure this is known, that we want to present a balanced opinion in our media, and we thank Accredia for taking the time to respond to Umberto's piece. We encourage all of you out there to write us with your thoughts on anything that we cover on QDL or in our newsletter.
Certainly love the feedback. Feedback is everything in this business.
It's our lifeblood. It really is. And you know, I mean, you work our Facebook. You not only edit the newsletter, but you work our Facebook, our Twitter accounts, and you see that feedback.
The feedback is incredibly important. But
yeah.
Well, one of the things I like about this particular feedback is that to me, kind of points out a stance that my own personal view on Quality Digest is that not only do we have a responsibility to present the industry accepted standards, of which Acredia is referring to, but also we get to be the platform for people that are going to push that envelope, going to question the standards, and that, so the feedback that we get is fantastic.
Well, and we should point out, because we get comments about this occasionally, that we have opinion pieces in Quality Digest. We do have opinion pieces, but we would never publish an opinion without a counter opinion from anyone out there that cares to comment on that. So again, we encourage that. Our role here is to have a discussion with you and with our contributors, and we encourage you always again to let us know what you think. Write us. And write us at QDL, qualitydigest.com is a great way to reach us, and give us the opinion about how we're doing, and counter if you feel like we've published something that's off the deep end. Let us know.
Certainly, if you get tweaked, tell us.
Tell us. We want to hear about it.
Let us know.
Okay. Well, next week here on
Quality
QDL
Digest Live.
Yep.
I'm very excited. We are going to feature, among other things, an interview with Jay Zoe, Ford Motor Company's Executive Technical Leader of Global Quality. And I love having the guys from Ford visit us. They're a bunch of really sharp individuals, and I've got to tell you, when I went there for the media event, I was so impressed with everybody that worked there. I mean, everybody. This is one of the slickest organizations that I've ever seen.
And they have a real quality focus. They understand quality.
They do. Yeah. I mean, they're not perfect by any means.
No, sure.
There's a lot of problems that come out, but they sure push the envelope in innovation. So there's more chance for hitches in their giddy-up. But they're great at addressing those. But anyway, Jay Zoe on next Quality Digest Live next Friday.
Quality Digest Live, a week from today. And we're also going to have a great tech corner showing off Creaform's latest and super fast handheld 3D scanner.
How fast is it?
I don't know, but it's fast.
Super fast.
It's super fast. Dirk will tell you exactly how fast.
Okay.
Tune in a week from today. He'll tell you exactly how fast
next
that
week.
3D scanner from Creaform is. So tune in for that. Well, that's our show. We want to thank Michael Raphael. Raphael. Just like the
Ninja Turtle.
That's right. Michael Raphael. For joining us and talking to us about call for papers. I want to thank you, Ryan, for sitting in for Dirk. And
thank you for having me. It's been fun.
All of you for watching, and we will catch you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.